Okay. Yeah, so like last time we like almost finished a lot of the game, and then I was just like feeling a bit, I have an extra hour now, so we're really close to the end, so I just want to kind of get this done. So I figured let's just do another hour now, then another 2 or 3 hours tomorrow. Yeah, so currently there's 2 outstanding tasks. The first is to lock input when a win state is achieved, and then the second is to deal with the geometry of the lines. I want to begin by kind of locking this win state. So if we go to update state, I think if the game is won, we want to okay, there's a slight thing to think about here. Technically, when the game is won, an animation is still going to be playing for the tile. However, we won't want we never want any other tile movement direction. So I think one way to do this would be to like ignore these tile movement presses. I think a simpler way is just to check if the game is won for any of the updating the grid configuration, and then if it is won, just don't do anything. Yeah, there was also from last time, there was some issue with I wanted to update the animation fraction down here, and then because of the way the function was returning, it was failing, and so we can fix all of those now. Okay, so I think the first thing I want to do is to put the animation time down in here, since it really should be part of the state being updated. Or at least, yeah, animation 1 fraction. Yeah, this should not be in the render. So this itself will cause a couple of issues, and we'll see what those are and then figure out how to adjust it. Yeah, so in particular, it's not continuously being updated unless something it still puzzles me while like nothing's changed, and when I build this, there's literally like a lag in a second. Yeah, so in this case, when like the win state is 1, yeah, the animation isn't updated constantly. So the function's returning early, this update state, so we want to stop it from returning early. I think this means we need to adjust this line, this return line, and this line. So yeah, if we're not updating the grid, just true, but now this part needs to change, and that this will now stop any animation. But we really want to say if tile movement direction I think is not equal to none and no grid update, this logic works better in the opposite direction, I think. Then we end up with that. So let's try this. Oh no, we've got a runtime assert 365. Likewise in here we would still want to return the animation time. So I think we can just have this as like the else statement. So let's see. Yeah, if we are doing a grid update, the negation in this is going to be this or this. The none is always going to be, is going to activate that. Maybe part of this is redundant. Hang on. So yeah, the problem is how this is interacting with the animation. So when the animating tile is set to 0, this is stopping the animation. But we want this to happen when we're partway through an animation and the next animation button is not doing anything. So how do we want this to work? So it worked before when we were returning from this, and therefore not activating. So I think the problem is as following. If something is animating, like we've pressed the left button, on the next frame it will be none, and then this immediately stops this. So I think in fact we should just have a separate kind of logic for this line that doesn't have to do with the grid update. So I think we want to say, yeah, if we have a no grid, actually maybe this is fine. Because this line here is saying if the grid update happened for one of these ones. Well, if that's the case, maybe we should just make that clear. The problem, we can clearly just have like an if a grid update all of this stuff. The question is, can we just do an else here? Like, is it okay to, is the negation of all of this what we want here? So, so again, the negation of all of this will just be if none was selected, in which case we don't want to update the grid. Okay, so we can't just have an else here. And let's write a comment of what this is doing. If cancel any existing animation if the movement key was pressed, but the grid cannot be updated. So we do want to wrap this one then in an if. If if we are actually updating the grid, then do all of this. And then we can get rid of this debug print the grid, which we would actually want inside of here. And then this way we're always checking the one logic. We're always running this. And this way I think we can always calculate the animation fraction. Okay. And now there's no like random sudden returns. Okay, and then yeah, we fixed that. The animation is now playing even when we don't press all of the keys. Great. Okay, that bug fixed. Now what do I do? Let's just save that. I moved animation fraction calculation into update state. Okay. So I think as well with this render, I kind of want to split it up into a bit. Like part of, almost all of this code is pushing stuff to a GPU, except this thing here. So I think it would be better to actually rename this. Like maybe rename maybe we call this like calculate grid geometry, and then we just leave this to be the render. So a draw is or maybe just like construct render data. Like I think that that's not really correct either. Or maybe it is. I think like compute grid geometry feels more correct. So why do we have the vertex buffer index here to be 0? Okay, we do need that. Okay, so let's go to main, and then instead of render here, we'll have draw compute grid geometry. Now we'll go to draw grid geometry and change this to compute. Yep, stuff still works. So now we want to lock the keyboard when the win state is achieved. So if we go to update state. Okay, we now want to where do we want to do this? We need to add in this condition to check this. So yeah, maybe this is the part here where we update the grid if it has not yet won. So if we are updating the grid and not is 1, technically we can factor this out, but the compiler will do it. Yeah, pressing additional keys doesn't do anything. Great. So now let's, something slightly looks off. Something slightly looks off with these calculations. Locked keyboard, well yeah, locked updating once win condition met. Okay, so those are like some like tiny things I was slightly annoyed I didn't get to on the last screen. So now I can work on like the main issue, or the main thing to fix, which is to get rid of these borders. Get rid of these borders. So let's change the colors of them to the tile border, just so it's easy to see to debug, to a magenta to begin with. And then we need to compute we need to go to the compute grid geometry and calculate the stuff. So yeah, I guess to launch this again, so yeah, the top, we're going to need to calculate the top left, the ratio of the horizontal width from the leftmost end of this white square to the beginning of the magenta border here, and then likewise do the other calculations, and then offset them. So this one here doesn't need anything. This one really should be 0, 0, and 1, 1. But everything else needs to change. So these ones here in particular, which are drawing the border, we need to calculate. We need to replace these values. So well, so first of all, are these slightly off? They did seem to be the case. Like the kind of gap I'm seeing on the left here and on the top, I'm not expecting that. It's subtle, but it's there. So I reckon these have been incorrectly calculated. So what are we saying is the top left x? We're saying this is, when the tile x is 0, this is going to be 1 of the border width. Oh, there's meant to be an extra tile spacing in here. Since we need to account for the tile spacing on this like sliver of white border down the side. This is not in the calculation. Surely this factors out mathematically somehow. I guess we need to expand the terms. So we just have tile x plus 1 times the tile spacing. And then we'll just need to have tile x times the tile width. And then the ty should be exactly the same, but with tile x replace the tile y. Okay, so now, yeah, this is correct. Okay. There's no weird offsets now. It's so funny how it's so great how like our vision systems are so perceptible to these kind of changes. Okay, great. So that's that bug fixed. But now we need to calculate these other coordinates. So let's move the draw tile border rect down here. So how do we do this? Oh, so very helpfully, if we calculate it's so annoying that I press Z build run and it just doesn't immediately load like that. It does on Linux. Bloody Windows is so bad, it just decides to just like fart for 2 seconds. It's so annoying. Like, it should be like that. It's like that on Linux and it's not here. Okay, so yeah, so if we calculate the top left corner, we can just like, in some sense we've like done the calculation and that like the coordinates here, going between the coordinates down here and here is just the same in, it's just like the difference of it's just the difference of the tile border width. Oh, hi Uranium Cat, nice to see you back. Yeah, is there any specific reason I'm doing this in Windows? Because I set it up in Windows is the reason. I should migrate this over to Linux. I guess just like, yeah, this PC I'm streaming on is like the PC with my somewhat beefy GPU and like the best specs because I use this one for gaming. Maybe this PC could like dual boot in Linux. I'm a bit like hesitant to want to like check that out. I want to check that out. I should investigate this, but I feel like most of the development I do is actually just on my laptop on Linux. But yeah, the gaming PC is also the streaming PC, and so currently I'm stuck with Windows. Yeah, I think, look, there's been a number of LLVM updates since the last Zig compiler came out. Even though we're using a somewhat recent version of the Zig compiler, I think now it's like 400 and something. I think I'm expecting some kind of speed up. We will see. We'll see. Okay, so okay, so maybe it actually makes more sense to just calculate the tile border top left and bottom left corners, and then simply offset them. Or we've done this math, so I can just use them again here. Okay, so it's just TLS minus tile border width. Oh, but now like, this line of code is now becoming a lot longer, and I don't like that. I feel like I should just be giving these separate names. Tile, alright, top left. Maybe top left tile border. And then we can set this to be this thing. Or we could even use vector operations actually. Yeah, since we'll be subtracting tile border width from both of them and then adding tile border width to some others. So let's just keep the calculations here for like the top left tile corner. So this one will be yeah, TLS, TLT, and then the bottom left, bottom right tile. Oh, so you have some good news. Uranium Cat says they have some good news. Yeah, recent news developments gaming mostly no more require Windows with Proton DB and Steam OS updates. I also plan to switch my gaming PC to Linux. Okay. Yeah, I've never actually given Linux gaming a proper investigation. I've certainly played a couple of smaller games on there, but yeah, I'm curious if, say, like Elden Ring will run on Linux. Like that would be cool if it did. Okay. Yeah, so once we've got that, the tile border is just going to be the top left tile minus. Okay, now I've seen this done in the current compiler. Not sure if it's going to work in this one. Okay, well, maybe if I declare that it's a vector, I can just say splat tile border width, because ISIS. No. This is meant to be. No, this is correct. This is correct. And then likewise the bottom right tile border. I suspect the compiler on this line is going to say, I don't know what you want me to splat it to, and then. But then we'll fix it if that's the case. Okay. So then we've got those down here. We then say. We now want this to be, I'm drawing the tile border, just the top left tile border, and then the bottom right tile border, and then here with the lambda value, and then here is just going to be the top left tile, bottom right tile. Oh, game. I just said Elden Ring, like. Yeah, or like Dark Souls, something like that. Although, like the most recent game I've been playing has been Steven's Sausage Roll, so maybe I should check that one out. Okay. I expected the compiler message, this exact message. Must have known result type. Didn't know what it is. Okay, this is fine. We'll just call it splat is equal to vec2, which is equal to this thing. let's just call it like B splat. Okay. And then, no, it hasn't faded. Why? This is, I'm sad. This was meant to, there's not meant to be any black lines on this now. What just happened? Yeah, why is this not showing it? Like say I just, say I undid, say I uncommented that line. Okay, the zoom is totally off. Why are these things zoomed in so much? Or rather zoomed out so much? Oh, it's because, being so silly, it's because we normalized them here to be between 0 and 1, basically, and then we're just like adding in something that's not at all close to a 0 or a 1. And in fact, like, so many of these operations are SIMD operations anyway. Like, we're dividing both of these by the grid width, we're adding the tar width to both of these. Really, we should just be working with like vector 2s all along. Like even this one is totally SIMD in some sense. We're just, what we're saying, like multiply it by 2, add 1, times that by this. Just because the compiler is going to complain because of the splat, like we won't do that, but in theory this could easily be like SIMD. Okay, so let's, one thing to do would be to tidy this up a bit in terms of like the SIMD. Why don't we do that? So let's say this, the top left is equal to a vec2, that's top left x, and then top left y. And then that is the thing inside the border. And then once we have that, we can then say TL in terms of ST. So here we want like the inner and the outer. So this one is the inner. And then we want TL outer, in which we need to do in which we need to minus some stuff. So yeah, the TL outer is now the TL inner minus the B splat. And then for like the bottom right, let's see, for the bottom right inner, we're defining this, there's like a couple of splats we need to do. Okay, let's call this splat 1, and then splat 2. So splat 2 will be the tile width. So yeah, so we have the inner, get the outer one by saying minus splat1 from that. And for the bottom right inner, we just take the top left inner and add to this the splat2. And then the bottom right outer is equal to the, this is the bottom right inner plus the splat1. Okay, so now we need to normalize these things. So I guess we just want to divide everything by the grid width. So now we have the top left inner ST is equal to the top left inner divided by another splat, splat3, which in this case is the grid width. Just to keep track of where we are. And then the top left, the bottom right in ST is equal to bottom right inner divided by splat3, and then likewise it's just the TL outer. Actually, maybe it's better just to keep these like for consistency. Keep them like this. Okay, so now we should be able to get rid of all of that. And then down here, we can now replace the TL tile border and the, if we're doing the outside, it's now like the top left outer ST and the bottom right outer ST. And then down in here, it's the top left inner ST and then the bottom right inner ST with the 1. Okay, and then, haha, fantastic. Okay, finally, we have done it. That's basically the animation it played on my head, and now it's in the game. Oh yeah, the game is basically done. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay, so now I should look at it closely and make sure everything is aligned correctly, but it seemed to be the case. Yeah, I don't see anything moving, so that looks good. Yeah, thanks. Like it's taken a while to get here, and I think this is the first time I'm using the Zig Game Dev libraries. Oh, it's so dark in here. Let's add in some lights. Oh, the screen has just died almost? No. Okay, still fine. Yeah, anyway, this is the first time I've first time I'm using the ZGFLW and Z OpenGL libraries. Like previously I've just used, wait, why is the stream quality so stuttering so much? Wait, what's going on? Now I'm like massively confused. Okay. Weird. Anyway, it's just it's satisfying to be doing everything from scratch, and and having it work out. It's like okay, so now let's change the debug color to something that's better. I'm actually not that. I'm happy with like the white color that was being used beforehand. If we go into the colors for the like for the tile border, I was using this dark gray before. Like I think it looks okay, but I don't know, maybe it's better to. It looks slightly too dark to me. I guess I should just take a screenshot and then open up GIMP. The other thing is that when we publish the game, it won't be a 2x2 puzzle, and so it would be grid dimension equals. It will at least. I think it will actually be 4x4, and so if we're going to take a screenshot. Oh yeah. If we're going to choose the colors to work correctly, 2, 5, 4, we should at least choose colors when like the screenshot's legit. Okay. Yeah, so let's. We also need to take a screenshot for the README. So I guess something like this will be fine. Make it fetch planet images online and generate random RIP. Yeah, yeah. There's um, need to like quit the stream and then start it again.